I need to talk about something that's been making me laugh for a while now. The internet has spiritualized absolutely everything. And I mean everything. At some point, we crossed a line where people stopped simply drinking tea and started activating herbal frequency portals for nervous system recalibration. What happened? All right, now listen, before anybody gets defensive, let me just say this clearly. I am not anti spirituality. You guys know that of me. I literally work with energy. I'm a Reiki master. I believe intention matters. I believe consciousness matters. I believe healing can happen in ways modern systems don't always understand yet. So I'm not standing outside spirituality throwing rocks at it. I'm standing inside the house asking, why are we selling trauma informed aura smoothies now? Huh. Because somewhere along the way, the internet discovered that if you combine emotional pain, spiritual buzzwords, soft background music, and gold lettering, well, you can sell almost anything. Now, let's be honest, some of it genuinely helps people. And that is the tricky part. Because mixed in with the nonsense and the marketing fluff are real human beings searching for healing and connection and meaning and peace and hope. That part is sacred. But the internet took spirituality and turned it into a weird combination of self-help, identity branding, online shopping, and emotional Pokemon cards for exhausted adults. Now we've got trauma-informed astrology, shadow work skincare, conscious dating algorithms, abundant water bottles, divine feminine coffee, frequency-based toothpaste, and Mercury retrograde protein powder. Shit's real, folks. I swear there's probably somebody right now trying to align your chakras with gluten-free soup. And the crazy part of all this is part of me understands why this stuff hooks people. Because modern life feels disconnected as hell. Most people are overwhelmed, emotionally exhausted, spiritually hungry, and trying to find meaning in a world that feels increasingly artificial. So today, I want to laugh about this a little, because honestly, some of it's hilarious. But I also want to talk about the deeper reason all this exists in the first place. Because not everything spiritual is fake, and not everything mainstream is right. And discernment matters more than cynicism.
Welcome to Aligned AF, real talk for evolving souls with Yahweh Kent. Join Yahweh for honest conversations on spiritual growth, the messiness of life, and how to move through it all at a higher frequency. So grab a cup of tea and let's sail in. This is Aligned AF, and here's Yahweh.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Aligned AF, real talk for the evolving soul. I am Yahweh, and I'm really glad you're back with me today. Today, we're talking about how the internet has taken spirituality and turned it into a money-making business. Now, to start things off, you guys know me, and well, maybe you don't. Maybe this is your first time listening, but I'm a Reiki master teacher. I work with energy. I work with healing. I work with, all sorts of spiritual modalities. And I believe these things. I believe that there's healing in the intention of seeking out truth. Okay. And sometimes that truth is a crystal, and sometimes that truth is a modality that mainstream society doesn't necessarily agree with. But things have been taken a bit far, in my opinion. Spiritual language has just exploded online. Everything is high frequency, Mercury retrograde craziness, and healing became part identity and part marketing. They use buzzwords to create emotional hooks to get people, and sometimes the teachings are valuable. Some of them are reputable, but others are just repackaged trends, taking some truth from some Eastern philosophy and turn it into a modern day course that's going to change your life. Well, first of all, anybody out there that's telling you my course will change your life, period, is leading you on, because the only thing that's going to change your life is your participation. Now, there are courses out there that if you take them and you do the work and you have the intention, your life will change. There are modalities out there that truly, truly will work if your intent is honest and you do the work. It's really a lot about you and less about the smoothie that shifts your chakras. So keep that in mind as we're kind of going over things today, because right now discernment is what's essential with all the stuff that's out there. So you have to remember something about the internet. The internet rewards labels, okay? The internet loves buzzwords. The internet will jump all over a hook and will shove it down your throat all day long. And if it's a good hook, it gets repeated, it gets shared, it gets reposted, and then it becomes like that jingle in your head that just never goes away. And the more specific your identity becomes, the more visible you become online. So people out there that are offering classes fine tune things. They get down to the nitty gritty of what the issue or the concerns might be that people have. And the more specific they get, the more visible they become. When I'm building a podcast, I use something called SEOs, and I quite honestly I can never remember what it all stands for, but basically what it is using the right keywords to create interest and to get seen on a Google search. Okay. So that's what the marketing teams do. They choose the right words, the right hooks, the right statements, the specifics to grab a specific niche, a specific crowd. And then they become more visible online. So, for example, like people used to be stressed. Okay. Well, they're not stressed anymore. Now they're highly sensitive quantum empaths navigating ancestral nervous system dysregulation during a Pluto transition. Okay, look, some of these frameworks genuinely help people understand themselves better. Trauma awareness matters. Attachment styles matter. Shadow work can matter. Astrology can absolutely provide reflection and insight for people. I'm not dismissing all of that. But somewhere along the way, healing stopped being enough. Now it has to become branding. And once spirituality becomes branding, everything gets exaggerated. Because nobody online says this meditation practice may gently help some people. No, they don't say that. Now they say this ancient frequency activation permanently rewires abundance consciousness in 48 hours. Okay, everybody calm down. Because honestly, I get why people fall into it. I've had my moments in my own life where I wanted healing badly enough that I probably would have bought moon charged beef jerky if someone told me it activated my higher self. I've been there. When people are hurting, hope becomes very easy to market. But what we run into now is that spirituality has become heavily monetized. Now, some creators are authentic, but some exploit insecurity. Marketing often uses fear or inadequacy to sell its products because fear and inadequacy are powerful motivators. Alignment gets confused with perfection. There's no such thing as perfection, folks, except for one thing. You are a perfect you. But that's a fucking chaotic mess, okay? That's perfect. That's what's perfect about you. And I'm looking at this today because humor helps us regain perspective. See, some of these ads online, some of them feel absolutely insane. You'll see somebody whispering over ambient flute music. This sacred cacao ceremony helps release scarcity imprints stored in your mitochondria. What the hell does that sentence even mean? Is that a Star Wars thing? Are they checking my metachlorian count? What the hell is going on? Somehow, every spiritual ad includes beige clothing, desert footage, slow motion sage smoke, soft piano music, and a payment plan. Now, to be fair, there are incredible healers, they're teachers, coaches, readers, therapists, energy workers out there, and they're doing beautiful work and they're doing it with integrity. There absolutely are. I know many of them. But there's also a side of the internet that realized if you make people feel spiritually incomplete, they'll keep buying things, trying to become fully aligned. And that is where things get dangerous. Because spirituality was never supposed to make people feel chronically inadequate. Real healing should eventually make you feel more grounded, more compassionate, more human, more honest, more present. Not constantly anxious that your vibration dropped because you ate Taco Bell during Mercury retrograde. Laughing at it is healthy, okay? Looking at it and seeing some of the absurdity is healthy. And sometimes laughing at ourselves breaks the spell a little bit. We look at some of the stuff we've chosen, some of the choices we've made in our lives, and we think, what the fuck was I thinking? You got to laugh at yourself a little bit. Because spirituality without humor becomes ego in ceremonial clothing. A lot of this is happening because modern life feels so completely disconnected. Many people feel failed by the traditional systems that are out there. Spirituality offers meaning and belonging. Ritual, intent, and intention genuinely matter because human beings crave sacred experiences. And underneath all of this, there's something very real happening. People, you start to realize that people, including ourselves, are spiritually hungry. A lot of people feel emotionally unsupported by religion or institutions or politics or healthcare or relationships, even modern culture itself. And spirituality often becomes the first place where people feel seen or understood or validated or hopeful. And that matters. I honestly believe that ritual can be powerful because intention matters, meditation matters, energy matters, prayer matters, and stillness matters. And no, I don't think that every unexplained experience is crazy. That's not who I am. I'm open to all of it. I've personally seen things in healing work that I can't fully explain logically. So this episode isn't about spirituality being stupid, not even close. It's maybe we need to separate sacred practice from spiritual performance because they're not the same thing. Now, here's where I want to be careful because I may alienate some of the listeners. But a crystal on your shelf doesn't magically make you enlightened. It doesn't. But intentional practices that help you become more conscious, more compassionate, more grounded, that's real growth. There are crystals all over my house. I love them. My wife adores them. They're everywhere. Do I think that having those crystals on a shelf somewhere help me stay more grounded or help me become enlightened? No, I don't think that. However, I do think that if I have the intention of meditation with a crystal in my hands, and crystals scientifically produce their own frequencies. So I believe that if I sit down with a smoky quartz and put the intention into the quartz that it's going to help me feel more grounded or help me feel more centered or help me to release certain old triggers that I'm experiencing. Through the intention, I believe that crystal will help me. Do I know deep in my heart and deep in my soul and deep in my very essence that I could do the same thing without the crystal? Yes, I do. I fucking know that. But I also know that humans love tools and humans love to have something that they think will help them. So there's a part of me that understands all this, that understands the desire to be constantly looking for things that are going to help me. And yeah, there are people out there that either choose not to do the work or just are incapable at this point in their lives of actually doing the work. And so they're looking for an easy fix. There are no easy fixes, folks. There just are not. There is no rock you can buy that's going to change your life. There is no tool that you can order. There is no download that you can get. No single thing is going to fix it for you. You have to have the intention and you have to do the work. Now, all of the things that I just mentioned can be tools for you. But you're not going to fix your life by drinking a karmic smoothie or surrounding yourself by rose quartz. It's not going to fix you. It's not going to take care of what's bothering you or triggering you or eating at you. But a ritual or an intention or a true act of doing the job, doing the work, taking the steps, that's what takes care of it. That's real growth. See, real spirituality is often quiet and kind of ordinary. Okay? Doesn't have to be this miracle movement. Don't get me wrong, there are miracles. I believe 100% in miracles. I've had some amazing spiritual moments. I've had what I believe to be the voice of God speak to me. It's how I got the name Yahweh, and because it was given to me. And I don't take that lightly. I don't think of myself as God the way most people see God. I'm not the one and only Almighty. But I do see myself as part of that. And I had one of those amazing moments. They exist. But the truth is, most of my work has been hard and chaotic and bumpy and fucking messy. And quite honestly, very ordinary. That stuff, the simple stuff, that's where real spirituality lives. Healing isn't always aesthetic or dramatic. Presence matters more than performance. Being there and showing up and doing the work matters more than performing some ritual. Authenticity is what matters, way more than image. Because simple human connection is sacred. So maybe the most spiritual moments in life don't even look spiritual online. Maybe spirituality looks like apologizing sincerely or sitting quietly with someone who's grieving or helping a friend move or laughing with your kid or resting when your body says rest, telling the truth, forgiving yourself, taking a walk without filming it for content. Maybe that's sacred. I think people are exhausted from feeling like they have to become more evolved all the time. So maybe the goal isn't becoming spiritually impressive, okay? Maybe the goal is becoming more real, more compassionate, more grounded, more awake, more honest, not more performative. You don't need to become an enlightened internet wizard to have a meaningful spiritual life. You don't need perfect chakras. You don't need curated rituals. You don't need aesthetically pleasing healing content. You don't need expensive retreats. You don't need spiritually activated toothpaste. You just need to be willing to grow, to reflect, willing to love better, willing to stay open. And that's enough. So yeah, the internet spiritualized everything. Some of it is beautiful, and some of it's ridiculous. Some of it genuinely helps people. And some of it is just marketing, wearing prayer beads. So maybe the invitation here isn't cynicism. Maybe it's discernment. Laugh at the absurdity when it deserves laughing at. Stay open to what genuinely resonates. Question what feels manipulative, and don't confuse spiritual branding with actual spiritual depth. Because real spirituality, at least to me, should make us more human, not less. More compassionate, more grounded, more connected, more honest with ourselves and each other. And if your spiritual practice helps you become kinder or calmer or more loving or more present, you're probably doing something right. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And please keep in mind, you're getting closer and closer to Aligned AF every single day. Bye for now. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode spoke to you at all, share it with a friend or someone who needs it. You can also leave a review or connect with me online. You can find Aligned AF on YouTube, Facebook, your favorite podcast channel, or at alignedaf.org. And if you want to reach out directly, you can email me at alignedafpodcast@gmail.com. So until next time, stay aligned AF.